What's the problems? And I'll fix them. I'll fix them.
Rent's too much.
What?
Rent's too much.
Rent's too much. I'll fix that. Who's your letting agency who lets you shop it?
I rent off Albi.
I'll speak to Albi.
Therein lies the problem, really.
Albi, me and you. I gave a snap, right? If you, Albi, if you win snap, the rent stays the same. If I win snap, there is no rent. You think you would take that risk, that gamble?
No.
Scared?
What was the one if he wins?
The rent is the same, there's no change. Well,
so there's nothing in it for him. Okay.
He gets a free jacket from me. Snap Champion 2022. No, it's not my face, it's the emblem of the Snap Championship. It's a hand slapping two cards. It's like sort of like a cartoon. And it says, from the chest there, it says Snap Champion 2002. And underneath it says I'll be in the second one. Well, if I win, which I will, then
literally just going to be only in his box shorts actually skipping for a bit.
it's like a cold.
I should just do a live stream on you, shouldn't I? Put a fucking camera on about a couple of angles, one like live.
YouTube. You'll probably get a lot of views now. You could do it just like a paid live stream for yourself.
I did actually make a 5 video. I think it's still online somewhere.
Weapon.
Still running, it's picking up. Someone's gone down.
Shut them down.
There's so many people in such a dense space. You know, I've had it before. I mean, a few years ago, just standing there and people were pushing through in such a way that, like, I remember this perfectly nice geezer getting really fucked off. I told him to fuck off, but it was a circumstantial thing. You know what I mean? He wasn't just like bullying people or trying to throw his weight around. It was just like, that's just fucking. Because the main core part of the street party, St James's Street is the gay street. That's where the main gay clubs are, and it's really narrow. It's only one way. There's no parking either side. The pavements aren't that wide, so it's a really narrow street. And that area, frankly, needs like its own turnstiles.
Yeah.
Just keep the capacity down, but they never deal with it. But it's awful. Honestly, it's awful. Sundays used to be like still good, but really chilled. But like, I remember the last fight, it was still really busy on the Sunday. They've made waves and they just made steps to like make sure that the bit outside my house, for example, is really good DJ setups, so they don't, so that more people are attracted to this area.
Yeah. Right, give me a few minutes, guys. I'm right there.
Cool. Yeah, it's a complex operation to set this thing up. It did used to be the street party was free and it wasn't barriered. So it started obviously with the Stonewall riots, but then eventually when it became an actual Pride Day, it was more a case of the bars were just overflowing in Kent Town. So they had the party in the park, but then after that event, Kent Town was just overflowing. So then the police and council were just like, fuck it, let's just let them have a street party, like just turn a blind eye to people drinking in the streets. And there was no music in the street, but people were allowed to drink in the street, and it was more a case that the police were there to ensure it was alright. And then it was like, the council, like, it cost something like £750,000 to clean it up. Something, maybe not that much, but like it's too much. 200 grand or whatever. It's too much mess, and it's just too dangerous. It's getting too big, and then so they made it so that they don't charge residents whatsoever. They don't even try. And they started it so that it's barriered, it's got portaloos, it's got a clean up crew. Obviously, someone's got to pay for that, so they do charge for it. But and then obviously they made it work every once in a while by putting D-Devils outside, bars outside. Yeah, it's become this. I see, but there's a lot of like the old school gays in Brighton don't go to it.
Yeah.
They celebrate Pride, but like my mate Kevin, he's like 72. He's doing Pride up at a bar the other side of Kemptown, like an old Kemptown.
Yeah.
It's not part of the street party, not close to it all. It's just like we're moving his mates and stuff. Like a little shindig at a pub. DJing. I get why it's become overrun. You know, it is like a. Everyone's generally respectful. You don't really the most backlash they ever seem to get is like bad organisation. But honestly, the organisation is on point. People just pick at stuff. You know, they even do things like there's like 3 or 4 days. They set up a box office just for people to collect their tickets in the centre of the city, like in one of the parks.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want anyone like queuing, and it's just. The thing is, where it's a charity as well, they can reinvest in the event. I don't know if they're doing it this year, but there's been talks of them having like water vending machines, just like free water taps basically, just like all over the city, just water tanks where they can just use the tap and they just refill like freely. Keep everyone hydrated. That's just, the MD's on about probably on 100 or 200 grand a year plus. He owns the company that do the barriers, which is a lot of barriers, security and the fencing. He's no daft cunt, but he worked really hard to get to that position. He is the best person for the job. It's not like he scrimps on Pride and lines his own pocket. Like they bring something like the last Pride, which was before COVID, so this one's even busier, was like 23 million. I think they spread the revenue to the city over the weekend, just the weekend. And it's an amazing thing for the city. It's brilliant, but people always find a way to moan. I reckon this year's more, but
I think you should do a museum, the history of Gay Brighton Museum.
Do you know what? That's a really good idea. It's not for me to do, but
it's not like, it's all about partying and fucking, yay! I'm not a bit of serious, like a bit of history. Just be quiet, like, take a wee stroll in the Gay Museum.
I actually ended up thinking to myself recently while I was on party, and I was looking it up and chatting about it. Why is Brighton a gay city? Obviously, I know why gays move here now.
That was me that actually asked you.
Oh, of course, yeah. No, it was me and you on party, wasn't it? It's because of the Navy population.
Good fighting.
We did get a lot of people that just sort of move here for uni. They might not have been gay or whatever up at uni, but they just have. I knew these Australian girls. These Australian girls that were travelling, just like they had a 2-year visa, and one of them ended up in a 10-month relationship with a girl while she was here. You know, it just happened to be a thing. Like, people come here to find themselves sometimes, almost. You know, and that's why they're a bit chaotic and He doesn't fuck about with that sort of thing. He doesn't find it funny. If a doorman was laughing. I remember when this one doorman was laughing to another one about this guy that was like shivering outside the pub with pissing rain in the middle of winter without his jacket, and he ended up sort of sliding down the wall, shivering. It's like about to lose consciousness. Daniil was on the other side of the barrier, and Daniil was just like, "Oh man, fuck it, it's not my problem," like just sort of have a bit of a chuckle. And Albie come out and saw him and was like, "What the fuck are you doing? Fucking prick! Go and fucking get him in. Go around there, get him in here, get him inside, dry him off, and get him a fucking jacket."
Humanity to it.
Coleman's logic.
It's a bit of humanity to it.
Well, The aim of the game is to send everyone home safely, as you know, being security.
know.
One way or another, if you've got to fucking... I've known doormen to drive kids that are unconscious to their parents' house after work.
Yeah, we used to have lift folks. Used to have lifted folk who like just couldn't get home. Huh?
Yeah,
Mind
we
you,
found girls in the toilets passed out, and it's just like someone needs to... You can't just leave them outside.
No.
So they take them home. They also take them home with a female as well. Female presence.
So, legit type thing.
Yeah, it's genuinely your job.
Right, I mean, if I found if I was the guy working the door and I found out that guy froze to death, or got kicked in or something, I'd go off with it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. He's vulnerable to a mugging. He was a skinny Chinese foreign student.
Yeah.
And also, the Chinese students who go over it are all well mingled back.
No.
They're a bit timid. They're a bit like, not timid, but they're easy.
Little Bambi's.
Yeah.
Bambi. Fuck me. Fuck. Oh.
Yeah, the Arabs are a bit more bullshit about stuff. We get loads of Arabic students that are a bit well off, but yeah, they're a bit more bullshit and they got their ways, but yeah, it's not. The sad thing is, if these two lads had gone to the doorman that time and just said, look, those guys, you know, do this or whatever, they said some things, they would have gone and kicked them out and kept those guys safe. But because they didn't have faith in the security team, you know, I just don't, if I had to guess, they probably didn't feel like Shush was the sort of venue that take it seriously. They just don't know Albie. Albie does like, he's the only one that will do it. Basically, disabled nights don't make any money. They're really expensive to put on. You've got to do extra stuff, you've got to store and extra facilities. And they don't spend anything. You know, like you're lucky if you make 100 quid because there's just a few people buying soft drinks. It's people that are quadriplegics, paraplegics. But he puts those nights on. It's like good karma, good will kind of thing. He runs it properly, he doesn't just fucking flippantly.
Yeah.
I remember when some geezer died in his club, he was gutted. Absolutely gutted.
How did the man die?
Well, he was
geezer.
75.
Oh,
he was 75, he was recovering from a stroke. And no one knew that. Yeah, well, he's gone, yeah, exactly, it was really weird. It was like on a Tuesday on the exchange, you know, foreign line international.
Hardcore,
This is it, it was like really weird, and everyone said, obviously the licensing were like, well, what did he have to be intoxicated or whatever? They're basically, I can't remember it that well, but something along the lines of, as he left, he ended up collapsing. And then, never regained consciousness. But to sum it up, his daughter ended up bringing up Albion and sort of thanking him for showing him a good time in his last moment kind of thing, you know, ended up being that scenario. He only had like 2 or 3 drinks in the club, they were doubles, but, you know, nothing was unorthodox, he was like, he wasn't swaying at all particularly, like just a normal amount for someone who's had, you know, if they watched the cameras and everything like that, and he was just his time. And I think he just made a stupid decision to go out clubbing while a couple of strokes on his own.
He's
a weird environment.
75-year-old.
Yeah, and he just collapsed on his way out, and that was it. But
he left happy.
Well, this is it. That's what his daughter said. Just like, thank you for. Most people wouldn't even let him in on a student night, to be honest, because it's a bit strange. It's not student as such, it's international exchange people, so they're like, they're all students yet, they're not necessarily like young friends.
No.
What's the sort of most, you know, serious story you've had on security and stuff?
Nothing too bad, like, I mean, the one that was memorable was we asked the guy to leave and he came back at me with a fucking knife, and luckily I fucking noticed it when he was coming to me and we got him on the ground.
That's fair.
Literally, it was like probably 4 feet away from me and I was like, oh you cunt, and I grabbed his arm and put him on the ground, and it was like, yeah, that was scary, but is that pride, you know? That was something. It was It was nothing like there was no dead bodies or huge casualty drugs in it.
And we've had, I remember Martin, my
And the
business
pump didn't be a bit
partner,
Pete. You can't hear abortions. Was that sorry, man?
my old business partner Martin, he told me about the club he worked on, the door was like really sound. It was a small door team, but everyone just knew not to mess with them. So that was some of the hardest people in the business. Pete was like 7'2", I shit you not. Honestly, he was like desperate dad, his head was like a fucking gorilla. And there was one person that he was fucking scared to fight, and Johnny C was like, in a nutshell, there was one time Johnny C was helping out me and Todd, two 25-year-olds, and Martin, who's a doorman and a bodybuilder, were trying to, we were dismantling our old bar, we were trying to fucking get the desk off of like a countertop kind of thing out of somewhere. The three of us couldn't do it, both arms, giving it all our effort. Johnny C just fucking, and let's have a go, just with one hand, train the whole thing out the floor, like it's unreal respect, like superhuman respect for everyone. Johnny C yeah, it's just silly, like silly, abnormal kind of thing. Like some of the others were like, yeah, fucking hell, just like the door team don't want to mess with it. Anyway, Martin said there was one night where he's thrown this guy out who's like a yard. As they took him out of the club, they pushed him down the road a bit, and as he sort of bent over, as he's come back up and faced them, he's withdrawn like a magnum, and it's like a proper dirty Harry with like an 8-inch cylinder kind of thing, like a barrel, staring down the end of a magnum. And the police said afterwards, obviously that he didn't do anything. The police said afterwards, like, it's a good job he didn't do anything because he's wanted for murder in Brixton. He would have shot you potentially, not definitely, but
Yeah.
you know, we've that's nothing compared to what happened to Dan Alvey's club, and this is why these people can't handle it. You know, they're it's in the space of 6 weeks last year, they had like a knife, a gun, a machete, and a sword pulled out there. You know, and these are just people that are trying to fry chicken. You know, if you put yourself into, I don't know many doormen that worked down the seafront for years because it just gets to them. You just got to go down there thinking you're going to be fighting for your life tonight potentially. Like it's lawless after midnight. It's weird. After 10, it just sort of changes, and because it's tucked down on the lower promenade, so I think people just feel a bit more like it's a blind spot. But it's over the years, so many things have happened with gangs and I've seen, like, I remember Ahmed coming into the office once with like a half golf ball sized lump in his forehead. Because you're on the beach with loads of stones as well. That's the thing. You know, so when there's like a gang fight going on, it often gets to the point where they're throwing stones at each other from 50 yards. And you get smacked in the head, one of them is doorman. I believe how much it's swelled up. So I've got to listen to it.
Yeah. Oh, Richie Boz! Right, what's it like? Oh no, come on, yes, you fucking legend. Yes, you legend. What you playing? I was playing it, not anymore. It's R-Type 2. It's died yet again.
It's hard as fuck, like.
I'm only on the 3rd level, like. Fucking...
That's no bad,
R-Type Final 2, it's like the finale type of the fucking series. It's fucking brutal. Played all of them, like. Never played this one. It's all about memory, really, yeah. Just memorise it, like.
Nah.
If you stop playing it for a day, you need to play it again. Good though. You get the soundtrack, but I can take them out in this, man. Yes. You want some? You want some? Fucking difficult. try and get it. I'm quite chuffed for the PS Extra, like, a lot of choice in there.
It's good, like.
Put it properly, like. It's amazing, eh? You get the Final Fantasy games as well, Final Fantasy 7, 8 and 9.
Yep. Yep.
I'm going to play 8 in it. Remastered.
I like it, like.
I think you never stop talking about it. 8 this, 8 that. I fancy Skull. It ends. Honestly. It never ends. Why do you like it?
When you level up, the bad guys level up.
Nah. Do you mean I never had that
It's
problem?
true,
Right?
like. As it's true, man. Honestly, look it up.
I'll look you up and down, scan you. This guy's a shady character.
I'm looking at my.
Johnson.
See the. What chimp is it? The fucking name you gave me?
Screaming Chimp.
Screaming Champ, that's it. I'm looking at it now.
Classic, right? I mean, you're wearing a same t-shirt. Matching t-shirts. Oh, it's so funny, Dave came in the room, we were wearing fucking Turtles t-shirts. That's our sort of thing there. Eh? Then? That's like your sort of thing there. This is more of a Turtles club, came out with those.
It's all like fuck suit, man.
You a bastard. Yeah, it's more about guys like Turtles, you know, with the no, how did I do, like? How did I die there? Oh, fuck's sake.
This is likely to break the record.
I take it as it's obviously the first time Tide's been back on, like properly, like during the month. Walk around normally. So.
Well, Pride was cancelled for 2 years, the actual party.
Yeah.
It was, honestly, it was kind of weird. I mean, I'm not too surprised. I know there's thousands, tens of thousands of people watching the parade, but once it goes past them, they don't tend to follow it. And they just sort of know where they're going to go. That's part of their morning. You know, they get ready in the morning, midday the parade starts moving, they go and watch it have a little wave, and they just set about their day. And 55 quid to go to the park. So that's a lot less of it these days. But yeah, it was like, everyone was standing down going, I thought it was the busiest day of the year, like 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like half 1, quarter to 2, boom. Just literally the parade just gone past and it was just like, right, let's go then.
Yeah. die? Will you die? Come on. Yes, fucking yes. Eyes are burning.
That is it.
My PlayStation was fucking about like it wasn't even a picture. I had to restart it. Refart it. You seeing me, aye?
Aye.
Where's Mr.
Just
Parsons?
He's away, look. He's back in a sec.
Having a tug.
I went into game the day, right? You kind of much the one for PS5 plates. And plates to go outside the console.
Yeah, I understand.
50 quid. A bit of fucking plastic. 2 bits of plastic. Fucking joke, yeah.
Get away with it, man.
56 quid. I was like, wow.
It's like a little light, man, isn't it?
Yeah, I like the way ones, like, I don't mind at first I was like, okay, like, I don't mind it. Getting pink, blue and black. I think I would like the white one
I'm gonna go get my tablets and make my kebab.
though. Bob. Chili sauce, my friend.
Chili sauce right in the middle.
Yes, boss man. When you get a kebab, does your dad go, for you, boss man? You should.
uh,
Boss man.